Hello all, welcome back to our channel here in our home apiary in Hertfordshire. Today is, I'm just going to do a quick check. I'm not planning to spend too much time in the hive, so this will be a relatively short video. If you recall from the last show that I did, or the last video, what we did then was move for the bees from this hive into the new Double Long Hive. I'm only using half of this. I'm still to do the review about this hive. You can see the bees are humming around quite nicely. They sound good. They're not seeming aggressive at all. It's the 6th of August, and as you can see, there's a sun coming out. Earlier today it was raining, last night it was raining, and for the next few days, well, next week or so, the forecast is for quite a bit of rain. So I think the bees are taking advantage of a bit of a dry spell just to get out and get some foraging done. I can see a bit of pollen on one or two as well, so that rain's obviously not stopped too much as far as that is concerned. Now, what are my objectives today? It is because, if you recall, when I moved it over, I could not find the queen. Now, these bees have once superseded, so I will want to just check and just see whether or not they have done that again, possibly, which is why maybe I was looking for a white spot on the queen. If they have done that, then obviously if there is a new queen. So one of the key objectives I'm trying to do today is, because I couldn't find the queen last week, was to see if I can find her. If she's not there, the key indicator I'm more concerned about, there's a bee in my hair, gone. Key indicator I'm going to be looking at is eggs, because that means that there has been a queen laying in there in the last 3 days. Last week I saw quite a few eggs, so hopefully we'll be doing that. Another thing like we did last week was, when I moved them over, I increased the number of frames. I may not be doing that again today, but one of the key things I noticed last week was that they were backfilling with the syrup on all the frames that they were building out the comb on. So I just want to make sure that how much have they had that syrup, and if they have, then let's just give them any more. That will be determined based on how much they do have in the stores, because I don't want to give them too much syrup, but I do want them to sort of grow and build out the there we are, another bee. So I do want them to build out that comb, particularly for the laying of eggs by the queen, and not backfilling that. So I will give them more space if they need to, but because the forecast is for the next week to week and a half having quite a lot of rain, I'm in this sort of sixth sense as to whether or not I do actually give them any more syrup. But that, as I said, will be determined based on what we have in there. The other key thing is that the store I have in there at the moment, even though they are collecting, will probably be predominantly the syrup. So I don't want them to be used to that. So I'm going to just stop now, and then we will sort of dive in. Okay, just before I open up, one thing I forgot to mention is that it's now August. So what I am going to be putting out, because particularly in later August, the wasps can be a real issue. I have got the entrance reducer on, so it's about half of the the entrance is actually open at this point. But what I am going to put is a number of wasp traps. This just looks nice. There's other ones that you can get which are just as functional. You can even just make them out of a soda, bottle, and just make some holes. What I'm going to be putting in these is just something simple. What I do not recommend is just putting in plain sugar syrup, because that will potentially also attract bees, and then bees will be caught in here. All this is they go in here and then they get trapped in there, and then they will drown in the actual whatever you put in here. Now what I'm going to use, which for this model, I just pour it down here on the side, and it will go on, cap that so they can't escape from the top, and hang that up around the apiary, but also around the garden. I'll do 2 or 3. Now the key thing that I use for this is I usually just put a bit of jam in some water, just stir that up. So or you can use fruit juice if you want to, and you put that in there. From experience, bees don't tend to go for jam and jammy water, shall I say, or for fruit juice, not the same way that the good old wasps do. So even though wasps, I am an advocate for wasps, because they actually do a lot for the ecology by killing a lot of pests and diseases, pests which can potentially spread diseases to plants and other animals potentially. But as far as the bees are concerned, later on in the next sort of 2 to 3 weeks, if it does get warm again and not too wet, the wasps will be being kicked out of their nests in advance of a winter, and they start getting quite aggressive. And what that means is that they'll be looking for their own food, and that's when they start looking to steal your own food if you're having a picnic, or honey or stores from a beehive. So I'm just going to put that down, and you might see those about in the future. So let's dive in and have a quick look at how the bees have actually done. So first of all, just have a quick look at there's a few little bees in there, but it's completely empty. So I will at least be washing that if I'm not going to be doing anything out. Just getting my hive tool out, so it doesn't look like I needed it. Let's just have a quick look. They seem quite calm. Certainly no queen, so I'm going to take a bit longer because it has been a while since I've been doing day-to-day beekeeping, so my eyes won't be as attuned as probably more experienced beekeepers have been. Now, I used to live in Africa, and this reminds me a bit of what if we used to go sort of like safarying and looking for various wildlife. And last time I went, it had been quite a while since I had actually been in South Africa, and it didn't mean that so these are some 2 new frames, but yeah, from wildlife perspective, it took a little while for my eyes to attune to the bush. And this is a bit like it. My eyes still have to tune to bees and make sure I don't miss something as simple as a queen that may not be marked. There's been no drawing on those 2 frames. So what I do know, I don't need to add any more frames for at least another probably 2 weeks. Now this one was one that was in the actual nuke, which was, just as a recollection, was a 5 frame nuke. And if I come here, just have a quick look. No, so the inside they started to draw. Actually, this one was one I think I added last week. So they started drawing. Now there's quite a bit of just blowing, just in case there's a queen there. So there's just a gentle blow. No, definitely doesn't look. Just obviously filling up with stores. You know, that bit in the centre that they've already done. But this side, they've started capping. Now I'm going to just do a little check, and just with the edge of my tool, and just see if it is honey or that is honey. So that's wonderful news. It's not syrup, and no queen on there at all either. As I said, it's going to be a relatively quick inspection because I don't feel we need to disturb them too much. I'm not an advocate to spend hours going through hives. I might not be as quick as a commercial bee farmer, beekeeper, and one of the reasons I'm doing this is because I actually enjoy looking at the bees. But ultimately, I'm trying to do this semi-naturally, as from an extent. Just have a quick look in queens that I can see. Certainly no white spots. But as I said, I'm going to take a little longer to have a look. Now, if anybody sees a queen on any of these frames, please do leave a comment and say it was on that 2nd frame, 3rd frame, or whichever one it was. But you can see there that the cells are having emerging or have had larvae emerge. You can see there, just there in the centre, and they haven't started backfilling that. So that must mean, hopefully, they are leaving that for the queen. Let's see if I can't see any emerging brood per se. Yeah, nope, no queens there. So I do think these Langstroth frames, some people prefer if they want the bigger frames than the British Nationals, they go for the 14 by 12 inch frames, which are just deeper national frames effectively. And oh, look at these. Okay, well, there's lots of, I come here, this is all pretty newly, so if you can hopefully see it in there, if I can turn that, this is the advantage of hopefully the black. I think you can see here all of the larvae, from all the way down to very, very young larvae, going, and as we're going closer here, getting bigger and bigger larvae, and then obviously they've capped this. So I think most of this would have been capped relatively recently, and it's all the way around. So she's doing lots of, yeah, don't see any eggs. These are all very small larvae. But they haven't yet, as you can see, built out the comb all the way to the edge. So they also have room on these frames to do just that. Again, no white spots, and I can't see any queens on there. But this side, I've got lots and lots of eggs. This whole frame in there, if you can see, hopefully you can see from there, is just full of eggs. So I just wanted to do another check. If there's lots of eggs, that means, as I mentioned earlier, been less than 3 days. I'm just checking, just gently blowing, generally works. No queens there either. Don't know where she is. I've got a feeling I might be having a challenge with this queen, but I'm really impressed with how they've actually grown. They've definitely grown since last week. We've seen on that frame, not the one I just looked at, but the one before, there's definitely been a whole lot of new brood that's emerged, and same on this one, and there's even eggs in some of these as well. Just looking for the queen before I move closer to the camera, just in case, so I wouldn't want her to fall off. But anything yet? No, it sounds so docile. And again, this frame, just come a bit closer, they are sealing up the brood over here in the center, and as we're coming out, they're smaller and smaller, and right on the edge here we've got some eggs. So again, she's been working on this frame, so she's been quite busy. She's been doing about 2 frames worth of eggs in the last 3 days. Hello ladies. So now, for those who haven't done any beekeeping before, obviously you must be interested, otherwise you won't be watching this. But it's something about just listening to the bees, and you can hear and you'll learn different sounds from each colony. As I'm taking out the frames, because I've got the space, I'm looking down just to make sure. So if you recall, in the nuke, when I was transferring, she went down to the floor and tried to stay there. Oop. There's a bit of comb, they will clean it up. Okay, nothing yet. I'm more worried about, not worried, more just sort of interested in looking for the queen now, but as I said, I'm not too fussed. There's a bit of comb. Okay, as again in here, some very small larvae, some which will be sealed, I'd say, in the next few days, but no queen. She's still hiding. So if anybody can think of a name for this queen, my 2 daughters keep asking, you know, what are we going to name her? Well, as she's been quite evasive, this queen, maybe that will give a clue for some people, but please leave a comment down there, and let's see if we can come up with a name for this queen that is being a bit evasive. Okay, not obviously in the bottom, and yeah, lots of small brood, unsealed obviously at this point on both sides, and there's even some eggs. Again, just having a quick look on this frame. Wow, so she has been busy. I can see this hive pretty much having a big population growth. Don't know if it'll be an explosion, but definitely a strong, steady population growth. Now, last week, as I mentioned, if you were watching the other video, there was lots of backfilling. Now they're not doing that this time. Now that is probably because quite a lot of this brood has actually emerged quite quickly in the last week, and the syrup has obviously run out. Don't know when that was. They are foraging, So they are bringing something in, because I tasted that one frame as I mentioned, and that was definitely honey and not syrup. And this one is being backfilled, or was previously, but there is emerging brood. There's no eggs or in a lot of these empty cells, but that means there's going to be quite a lot of nurse bees in here, and with all those eggs and young larvae. And on this one there's also quite a bit of pollen, but I still haven't seen our little evasive queen. Maybe we should call you Eve for evasive or something. I don't know. Come with ideas, please, everyone. Nope. Just below there. Nope, she's not there. Nor is she there. Okay. I think I might come in here at some point and just try and see if I can spot her. We've got one more frame to go, the last frame right by the entrance, so it wouldn't be unusual for her to be running along, shall we say, away from where I'm actually working towards the entrance. Now this was a new frame we put in last week, so it wasn't drawn at all. It's wax coated foundation. And yeah, we've got, I'll show you this pollen on this bee here, so it's definitely bringing in pollen. And yeah, so I'll put it down. Got quite a lot of bees in here with pollen, but I certainly don't see the queen. Now, yes, they are building wax, and I think they are filling up the wax against an outer frame, so that would make sense. Just like with if I can say a conventional top down hives where you add the supers, the outer frames will be predominantly stores. There's no difference here, just because they come in from the outer side rather than from this side parallel. They are actually going in. So okay, well, I'm not too bothered. I think there's enough in there as far as some stores, but there are still 3.5 frames of to be built out with wax, so there is potentially. And with the rain that is forecast, I think I will just put a bit more syrup in. They are definitely building out. There is going to be a population growth, as I said, with all those brood that is currently emerging, as well as the fact that we can see that there's lots of other eggs and young brood, some of it just being capped, some not yet capped, that I think we will just give them a bit more syrup, and when that's gone I'll probably leave that, because hopefully there'll be enough of a flow still happening. It's a bit too soon for the late summer flow, and so I just want to make sure that we get these in a good position for then. So I'm just gonna, that's a nice heavy frame, that one. So do like that. Keep all the brood together so that the bees can keep them warm. As I'm doing all of this, I'll just keep looking to see if I can see any queen, and I'm going to give them, as I said, these same 2 frames, so that would be 10 frames in total. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 10 frames, as well as the board. Let's just seal it up. There we are. So that's it, a nice little notch where that fits in. I'm going to keep those there. I'm going to close them up now. So first we'll put this on this side. So I'm not too fussed, but I think that was quite successful. I'm very happy that we have definitely got a hive that is quite active. Put that down. Use the clean one, the new one in our wash the feeder. Remember, these are English feeders. So all I'm going to do, oh, have I put the wrong one in? I think I have. So ready. Oh no, of course I didn't. It's at the front, just in case. I've still got the plastic on that crown ball, so I'm just going to swap them over. There we are. Put that there, and put this back. And I'm going to put the feeder on, feed them, and close them up. And ladies, keep going. I think you're doing a wonderful job there. Making sure that we don't go on top of you girls. Yeah. Feed this back there. So there we are. Put the feeder in, and then I will just pull the feeder. And I will come out, but I won't show you. I will come out and I will put a couple of the traps out because of the wasps. So I've got some more of the syrup here, the same syrup from that one of the earlier videos that I actually did. So this is the last of it that I made. Always worth making it. I can smell a bit of it. If you remember, I put some cider vinegar, cider vinegar in there, and I can just smell a bit of apple, but I don't smell any vinegar. So that will help them. At least if it's at the rates that I put in, it's less than what I put in last year, and we don't really want you to be in there. There you are. Okay, put you there and you can find your own way out. So that will be there. As I mentioned before, somebody gave me a tip with these English feeders, just drip a little bit up and down, but they should now be used to this because they've had this for now 3 weeks. So I can't believe it's been 3 weeks already that we've been beekeepers here in our home apiary. Absolutely loving it. And I keep finding myself coming down and just peeking through the trellis or coming through in here. My daughters are fascinated as well. But so that's it. I will just get you come out. You can go on top. There you are. Okay, so that's it everyone. I hope you've enjoyed that, and we are going to just do another video again. It'll probably be a couple of weeks because I'm going to be away on holiday for a little stint, and as I said, I will probably come and have another go at some point and just have a gander and see if I can actually find that queen. I'm comfortable that she's in there somewhere, or we've got a queen. Whether it's the one that I started off with, I'm not sure, but I am comfortable that there is a queen because there's lots of eggs happening, and for that number of eggs to happen in the last, let's say the last 3 days, I have no concern that we've actually got a queen in there. So it's nice to see her, but I'm not really fussed. It's more about letting the bees be the bees, and that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to intervene with anything. So hopefully you enjoyed that look at the hive. We can see that it's definitely growing. What I might do in this is just show you what the number of frames. As I said, it was 5 frames when I did this 2 weeks ago, and so it's only been 2 weeks, actually 2 weeks since we've actually got the bees, and to see how they've actually grown in that time to what was now a good 8 frames there. Thank you, and if you found this interesting, please do subscribe to the channel, tick that bell if you want to be notified of any new videos that we put up on our channel, and please do share. And best of all, what I like reading is the comments, so write some comments down. What should we call her? Eve, because she's evading us? Any idea? Come back to us. Thank you, and enjoy your beekeeping.